welcome back to my channel. My name is Elisa. If you're new here, welcome. Today we're going to be exploring two places that we haven't been to before, two natural gems. The first one is Purple Island, which is located 50 kilometers north of Doha in the city of Khor. Let's go. The drive here takes about 1 hour from Doha, and the drive is actually accessible for all vehicles, so you can bring a sedan vehicle. Now you're going to find Khor city on the way here. I mean, after all, Purple Island is also known as Khor Island. And about the last 500 meters before you get to the parking area are off-road, but it's very easy to drive on with a small car, so don't be afraid to make it here with a small vehicle. Once you park at the entrance, you're going to find a big bridge, which is what we're walking on right now. You're going to find the kids and David behind me. And you're going to see lots of mangroves. So if you love nature, this is probably the place for you. We basically haven't gotten very far yet because we're looking into the water and looking at all the crabs and fish and lots of other little creatures. And also it's a really good place for bird watching if you're into that as well. As you can see, there's no facilities around here, so you want to make sure that you bring everything that you need with you. So I'm going to show you quickly. We've got our backpack full of snacks and water, so make sure that you've got plenty of water, particularly if you come in late in the afternoon. It is still going to be pretty warm unless you're coming in winter. Yeah, let's get you some water. We're all thirsty. Most importantly, do make sure that you bring rubbish bags and that you also bring them back with you. Unfortunately, this is a big problem all around Qatar, and you're going to see it when you come here as well. There's plastic bags, bottles, masks, all sort of rubbish scattered along the mangroves. And I think looking after our environment is everybody's job, so make sure that you bring your rubbish bag. There is a big bin right at the entrance before you make your final drive into the car park, so when you finish packing up your bag, take it into the car with you and drop it off in one of the big bins. So we finally made it to the other side, and we stopped just on the side of these big boulders to get a little bit of shade and to have a little snack. And now me and Javi are going to go for a little walk around the island, aren't we, Javi? Yeah. In case you were wondering where the name Purple Island comes from, apparently the island used to be used for dye production back in the day. And the main production was purple dye, so hence the name Purple Island. And the dye actually used to be extracted from mollusks that were found in the area. And I believe that they actually found a pit that had thousands and thousands of them. And that's how they found out that that's where the dye came from. As you can see, once you get to this side, you're mainly just going to find desert again, surrounded by the mangroves. And we got Joaquin right behind me. I don't know if you can see him, that little tiny figure. He's managed to climb all the way up. Hey, Joaquin! We're gonna have to help him get down, I think. Once you get here, make sure to go and explore the island. You can go for a little walk around. It won't take you that long to cover the whole area. You can climb up the rocks as well. And if you are into water sports, this is also a very good place to bring a kayak or a boat and explore the mangroves. I believe there's also a business just off-site that does tours as well, if you like to pay for that instead. Alrighty, so we're pretty much done here. We're just walking back to the car park. I think we spent about 1 hour all up. I think it took us a little bit longer because obviously we stopped to look at the fish and the flowers and whatnot. If I'm going to make a recommendation, is to say that you either come here really early morning so that you don't get too hot, or later in the afternoon to see the sunset. Right in the middle of the day, unless it's during winter, it's just going to be too hot. So let's make it to our next location. We're heading to the Thakira Mangroves. So we just arrived at the Thakira Mangroves, and the first thing that we did was to actually blow up the boat that we borrowed for one of our friends so that we can take it out into the mangroves to explore.
I'm pointing at you, Dad. Yes, yes.
And as you can see, we're also starting to run out of light. We wanted to fit 2 locations in one afternoon. It is starting to become quite hot in the afternoon, so you don't really want to be here in the middle of the day, as there's really no shade anywhere. If you do come in the middle of the day, make sure to bring shade with you. All of these places are also in the middle of nowhere, which basically means that there's no toilet facilities, there's no shops or anything like that. So bring all the water and food that you need with you, and of course take your rubbish back with you. Now, things that you can actually do in the area are swimming in the nearby beach. You can explore the mangroves by kayak or boat, and you can also fish and picnic. The Thakira Mangroves Forest is one of Qatar's largest and oldest forests of the kind, so it is really worth coming down to check it out, at least just to relax for an afternoon. And it is only an additional 15-minute drive from Purple Island, so if you also want to do it in one afternoon, you definitely can. So the sun has completely set now, and David's taking the boys out on the boat one more time before we go home. I don't know if you can see him there in the background. We really had a lovely time here. It actually turned out to be really nice and relaxing. I know that when we first drove up we thought, where are we and what are we doing here? But actually by the water, as the sun's setting, you really can't beat that. It's really nice and green. The water's nice and shallow, and the kids can just play by the water. So we've really enjoyed our visit here. I think we preferred it a lot more than Purple Island, but it is really worth visiting if you are in the area, so you might as well do it. So thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do it. We've got a lot more content from Qatar coming up, and we'll see you on the next one.